The Square Ball Podcast.
Welcome to the show. It's brought to you in association with Levi Solicitors. They will offer you 10% discount on your legal fees, range of legal services. levisolicitors.co.uk/the Square Ball. Dan Moylan with you here, along with Michael Normanton and Moscow White, a.k.a. Daniel Chapman. This is Heroes and Villains. Hooray! Boo! Let's start off with the Ken Bates Villain of the Week award first. Someone what has done wrong by us. Obviously, some very obvious candidates from the last week. A few of our bet noirs have been in town. Frank Lampard Jr.
There are a lot of Everton picks here. There's Anthony Gordon, Frank Jr. I think we should start with Brighton because let's not forget about them.
They have wronged us.
They were villains at the start of this period, and Sean sent a little clip to encapsulate why.
Feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
Brighton, and not just because they beat us, but because they're just so inoffensive. They're so annoyingly unannoying. That's how I would best describe Graham Potter as well. Just, I don't even feel that offended that we were beaten. And, that's messing with me existentially, that I don't feel that upset. They're just just a nice club being run well. Just fans are all right. Just fuck off, Brighton.
I enjoyed Sean's accent there. It's a Scotsman on tour, wasn't it? It sounded like. Or Yorkshireman maybe on tour in Scotland, something like that. Yeah, fine.
Wisconsin Todd captured it as well. Villainous because they drone on with metronomic quality without being interesting. What's to like or dislike? Potter is drearily competent. They play well but don't score, so their matches like watching paint dry. It's fair enough.
Yeah. I would like them to be better.
Yeah, they've been a really good striker away from being quite an exciting team for a while.
And it would be great if this was the crux of my match report. Like they came up, or they overtook us out of League One from the Withdean and have done, even down to the having real ale available from where away fans come from.
They put little posters as well, don't they? Thank you for travelling 500 odd miles.
All those lovely little touches, and they do well. And then I'd like them to follow Leicester and just bust what's going on at the top, because it creates some hope that we might do it. If Leicester, who we played in League One, and Brighton, who we played in League One, can win the Premier League, then maybe we could do it next, especially when Radritzani's always, we'll do the Brighton model, we'll do the Leicester model. Let's see it work. Let's do that. But they just refuse. Instead, they just settle for beating us, losing to Fulham, and refusing to win the Premier League. And where does that get them? Nowhere.
So having gone from playing in an athletic stadium to being a well-established, well-run Premier League team, not good enough.
They're playing in a credit card now, though.
That is true.
Stop being so bloody nice and reasonable. Anthony Gordon.
Be more like Everton. Well, either become a really good team or just go the Everton route and become people that we can absolutely despise easily.
Yeah. Pander to our needs is what we're saying. Right, Anthony Gordon. We've got a clip here, haven't we, from Simon?
We have.
Villain of the week? Well, you got to go for firstly Davis for that thing on Meslier and the fucking punchable look on his face when he started smiling at him. But actually, Anthony Gordon. I mean, who calls himself Anthony these days anyway? Kid that age. And, he looks like the love child between Steve Cooper and Ian Dowie. What a face.
I mean, it's cheap, it's awful.
It's blaming him for his name.
Well, no, I mean, he could be Tony, couldn't he? And he's
Tony G.
Right.
He could be Tony G.
Because it's like when Ben White decided he wants to be Benjamin. I don't know where these like 20-year-old footballers are trying to attach some kind of gravitas to them by being called their Sunday names. Call yourselves Moscow.
Thank you, Daniel.
That works.
Yeah, I always used to know I was in trouble when I got my full name, my Sunday name. As a kid, and even now, to be fair.
What's the first name of Davies?
Thomas.
He's right about that kick on Meslier as well, because it was calculated, it's deliberate. The smile on his face afterwards. I would have booked him for the kick, and then if I was the referee, I would have looked at his reaction. I would have been like, right, you meant that. I'm going to give you another yellow and send you off.
I don't understand what he was hoping to achieve there.
Just to piss us off.
But you just pick up a really needless early booking though, because it was about half an hour in, wasn't it?
But he's an attacker, so how often he's not going to be like diving into tackles the rest of the game?
Well, he's an Everton player though. were kind of defensive in overall. So
But also, you've got the advantage of referees will be more reluctant to send you off if you're a forward. You can get away with one yellow without the expectation of another. I think it will be the same as Gordon on Christensen off the ball as well was another just disgraceful. There was no need for it. There was no call for it. It was just like, I'm going to take a booking to cause some anti-football trouble.
There were nominations for Pickford, Connor Cody in there.
I enjoyed Neil Warnock as a character, nominates Pickford for saying he's a first-class character.
Yep.
Took the piss out of the referee all night, and this is not true, but it's just how he looks, and looks like he'd nick a fiver out of his grand's purse. Scumbag. It's just, I don't think he's fine. And also TJ nominates him for having a punchable face that accounted for at least 10% of the match coverage because of the, I assume, the amount of time he was just holding the ball and doing this. If you're watching the video, did that a lot.
What's that? Just to explain that for the audio listener.
That's him moving his arms to say, you're not stood in the right place, so I can't possibly kick it yet. Yeah. But then no one moved when he did it.
Right.
The Everton players all just stood exactly where they'd always been. Yep. But he just did it to make it look like he was waiting for something.
I mean, and
the ref went, it's fine, he's just rearranging stuff.
Sorry to talk about myself here, but I've just noticed, scrolled down the sheet and seen that Bielsa Sai has nominated me for putting pressure on us to get 8 points from 5 games. Well, we got it, didn't we? We're staying up.
It's good to set targets.
It is.
Maybe. Just don't set any for me.
Don't shoot the messenger either. This was an Opta stat, not mine. I just said it with my mouth. That's all. Idiots.
Gordon was one of the worst of the tank engines, wasn't he?
Probably.
Was he the sour-faced green one?
No, he was blue. He was described as pompous, I've just seen. He's not Henry, who they bricked up, that you might be thinking of. But
that was very sad when they bricked him up in the tunnel. Like, I think it was... I read a story once. You know, you go down these little Wikipedia wormholes, and I think it was... I started looking at something about the Ribblehead Viaduct, and then I ended up... That led me on to the one in the Harry Potter films, you know, like the Curvy Viaduct in Scotland. That's very impressive. So the train goes round on a bend.
West Coast somewhere, isn't it?
Yeah, like a little sort of mini Hoover Dam vibe.
It's the Harry Potter one, isn't it?
Yeah, so I said
is that what you said? Yeah,
I said the words Harry Potter.
Right,
so
yeah, sorry,
you didn't need to repeat them.
I don't always listen.
No. And anyway, when they were building that, I gather when they were building the pillars for that, a horse fell in it, and they couldn't do anything to rescue the horse, so they just bricked it in.
Oh.
Yeah, and they've done like sciencey bits on it to X-ray it. Horse's skeleton in there.
Oh, there you go.
And that's what they did to that train on Thomas the Tank Engine. That's all I was saying.
Which all leads back to...
Anthony Gordon, who often found Thomas Davies very annoying for whistling rudely at him. So yeah, I was right, Gordon's a prick.
And Thomas the Tank Engine, voiced by Ringo Starr, who is, of course, a Scouser.
Yep.
All makes perfect sense if you think about it.
Makes you think.
It's been bothering me since halfway through the match. When I was the association Gordon and Tank Engine came to my mind, and I've only just got around to looking at it.
Stop right there, because Wedge has been in touch to say it shouldn't be Gordon. Actually, it has to be the grown man who dropped his child to fawn over Gordon.
The longer clip of that as well, he drops his child and then he's furious at someone for picking him up, is how it appears. Because the steward goes, "Yeah, you've left this infant on the pitch. Do you want me to pick it up?" And then the dad's like, "Put my kid down. Don't you touch him."
He's kind of
he's really furious about something.
He gets handed to him, and then he's just like, "Don't fucking want him. I want to have a go. I want to cuddle Anthony Gordon and have a fight with you."
That was excellent.
I do wonder if it was actually his child, because he seems so disinterested, because the kid runs on the pitch and then the steward goes over.
He doesn't run on the pitch. He gets dropped onto the pitch.
Well, no, before that. So the kid's run on the pitch.
Oh, okay.
And then the steward's bringing him back, and that lad's at the front.
Rats.
And I think because that lad is like trying to hug Anthony Gordon, I have a feeling the steward puts the child into his arms thinking this is the dad. And so that guy's then just go, "No, it's not mine. Fucking hell." And then he's back to Anthony Gordon. So I'm wondering if it's like a case of mistaken identity, but still his lack of regard for the child in any case is spectacular. Yeah, and it was strange watching him veer between, I want to hug Anthony Gordon and I want to fight this steward, and trying to choose between them seems to be a choice he was in no condition to make while a child wept at his feet.
He
can have a villain nomination, that guy.
Darren England, the referee, Bath Time, has This is very eloquent. It says, while the whole Everton side can collectively go suck on each other's toes for sustenance and Frank's bald spot is creeping up behind him like the relegation fight he'll be in again by October, I feel the ref gets this hands down. He's rightfully being called out by Jesse Face pandering of Fatso the Tub Lord extraordinaires, Burnley wannabes. I'm sure he has a nice bonus coming. No, we can't say that. For a good refereeing performance.
He's right, though. Just book some people and it stops. Really, really, really easy. I know refereeing as a whole is genuinely an impossible job. But if someone's taking ages over something, just book them for it. It's like the most straightforward bit of refereeing, you would think. You just look at how long someone's taking over something consistently and go, stop taking that long. You don't need to. Right,
Jackie's Corners get some nominations. It was Stuart does Dallas as well. Kinnear's programme notes. Let's pick a villain of the week. Who's it going to be? We know it's one of the obvious candidates, isn't it?
I feel like the referee. Give it Darren England. Black Taxi Philly points out, speculates that he can't use a digital watch. That could have been the cause, in which case he needs to just admit it and get help.
Yeah.
So I'm out there every week. I don't know when the game's ending. I'm having to look at the clock in the stadium, and if there isn't one, then the game could go on all night if we don't get a grip of Darren England.
Let's get on to the Gaetano Berardi Hero of the Week award. Somebody who has made us feel better over the last 7 days. A number of Leeds player nominations. Obviously, this does span a couple of games, doesn't it? So moods have ebbed and flowed over the course of the week. Let's run through the Leeds player nominations first. Sinisterra, top of the list, really.
Everyone nominated him for being, he's credited for flashes of Rafinha from House of Stouts, and Tom H says the same thing, as stepping into Rafinha's boots as our new dead good player.
Right.
Yeah, he's quite a different style. He's a bit more of a, he feels less explosive, but somehow more likely to make something happen. With Rafinha, you wondered if you would, whereas Sinisterra seems to be just always. It's hard to describe. It's only been
better?
2 games. He might be. There's just something about, it's 2 games, 2 goals, isn't it? 2 starts and 2 goals anyway. And then they've both kind of come from, they're not like, he's not breaking the net and they're not hitting the top corner, but they're just good.
Yeah, they're just dead clever, weren't they? Like really good standard professional football goals.
And like his spin on halfway against Everton wasn't up with Rafinha ending Cahill's career, but it was still just good, and also seems to be, I think it's because he works a bit further back. Rafinha did that like right on Palace's goal line, and then this is more halfway, and it's kind of, from there he's looking for a pass and usually delivering his passes into the front players so far have been really good. So
he potentially seems a little bit more suited to playing centrally as well than Rafinha was, because Rafinha looked like he always desperately wanted to be over by the touchline, which is where he played for us, played for Brazil, plays for Barcelona now. He's just stood right out on the
he wants
line
to be able to beat the man and run into the space, doesn't he? Whereas this is kind of running at players and running towards goal, like an inside forward rather than a winger.
House of Stouts also points out that his shorts are further away from his balls.
Yeah, it was weird how Rafinha always liked them high.
Don't kink shame him.
Good thighs. Yeah. Want to show them off, I suppose.
Nice to feel like nice bit of constriction around the... Anyway. Scrooge, Trent, Fergus McLeeds and Pickford's empty gel bottle among those who nominated Sinisterra. Tyler Adams getting some love as well. Like a wasp you can't beat away from your ice cream, says Rich AD, which I liked.
Toast going straight for the miserable side of it. Adams, he's fucking mint. I can't wait to sell him next season for about 25 mil.
Come on, 42. It'd be 42.
It'd be 42. That's a fair price.
Yeah, Meslier gets some love as well for good saves.
And for standing up for himself, as Lucy points out, when he was going into that with Davies. And he's been right into, yes, and Lucy also points out, right into the Barnsley fracas. And I think, wasn't he in for, he was up there when it kicked off with Rasmus and Gordon too. He loves a scrap, and I love him.
Yeah, for a spindly lad, he likes to get involved, doesn't he? Yeah, good on him. Rodrigo gets some mentions as well.
For getting injured, it's worth saying his nominations are for, and forcing the board to
get well soon.
Yeah. Maybe sign a striker.
Tom H obviously read the programme notes and took one for the team.
Rasmus.
Yeah, quite a lot of nominations for him. I think because he was better in the second half, and I had to go at Anthony Gordon were basically the things he was nominated for. Not having it.
I'm still haunted by the first half. I need to see more than one good half.
Yeah, relative to the other candidates, it feels like a weak shout, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'd say so. Rocker gets a few, again, possibly a bit weak, but for having his best game yet, probably.
And for playing a full match. He
managed it, well done.
Yeah, Rocker's best game in a Leeds shirt. Adams was tidy as always. Sense of calmness to a game that was anything but serene. He does, that is his big quality, I think, where it comes to Rocker. The Big Pirate gets some love as well for being an excellent left back, says Rachel.
I mean, where was he when Patterson was running through to have that free shot on goal?
But
Probably. Well, this is the thing. Striker's playing very, very well, but also one of the problems Harrison had in the second half was trying to play with him as like a link-up player, and Strike just can't do it. He's just not good enough as an attacker to be able to play those short little passes and get Harrison to the byline and basically give Harrison what he needs to attack effectively. But I think Strauch has been absolutely brilliant so far this season, and is like he's not trying to help Harrison in those situations. And I can't remember which way around the feet is supposed to be, but if we get Firpo back, given we're not going to sign anybody, then Strauch can take over from Llorente, because I don't think he's mentioned at all, but Robin Koch has been brilliant so far this season. I think he's getting a steady 6 or 7 on all the TSB Plus ratings, but maybe it's just by contrast with Llorente's randomness, but he's just sorting everything out, and if he can be fit all season, I think he'll be a quiet shout for Player of the Year.
I mean, I think Strauch has been our best fullback this year, which, considering he isn't one, is probably quite an achievement. So,
yes. Before we get to the obvious high point and the exit point of this award, Lampard's bald spot, let's just give a quick mention to first the East Stand kid, Bielsa Sai. Proud of the East Stand kid who was giving Gordon and his wig some grief down there at the front.
That's reminded me, as I came out of the Everton game, walking up Elland Road past here, in fact, there was a gang of about 15 10-year-old girls who were all singing, and at first I thought they were all singing "We All Hate Leeds Scum," but as I got closer I realised it was just "We All Love Leeds." They were doing the positive one, and they were very excited, very happy, singing all the songs.
Did you discover that after you'd laid into them, started punching them? And
they I assume one of the grown-ups with them, a teacher or whoever, said, "Why don't you all sing your own song?" And without missing a beat, they didn't even need to try and organise it. They started singing, and I'm pretty sure that the full lyrics were 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? Leeds United, AFC. They're the only team for me. And it was brilliant.
woo! We did the Everton chant.
They did a big cheering woo at the end of it, and then started it again. And I think that might be my new favourite Leeds United song.
Well, I look forward to you trying to start it.
Get it going from the back of the West Stand in the gantry.
But nominations for them, because they were probably the most cheerful people I've seen after a 1-1 draw. Maybe it's just being up because it was 10 o'clock.
It was late. It was past my bedtime. And this one is very much of the day, de jour, this one. Castleford Christian says, the hero of the week is our unnamed impending deadline day striker signed completely out of the blue despite interest from a host of European clubs, and the club pretending, that's air quotes, they didn't think we needed one, those rascals, right?
What's he called, our new striker?
Bamba Dieng.
Bamba Dieng, of course, yes.
Hat-trick against Brentford incoming.
Looking forward to it. And finally, Frank Lampard's bald spot. White, I read that as Rose West. White Rose Wes says Frank Lampard, sorry, bald spot. Just need to point it out to him, and that'll keep him sat on his fucking bench.
I do wonder if anyone behind him was pointing it out, because it was a wasted opportunity.
He was getting quite a lot of grief from the front of the West Stand, but he just did his smug thing of turning around and going, I don't know why you're all laughing. Bit weird that you're laughing at the manager. Like, what's your obsession with me?
I thought we were obsessed with time. But who's your villain?
Well, aren't we nominating a hero here?
We are. Who's your hero?
Well, hold on.
Oh.
I've just seen more news. Maybe Spurs are nominated by Christensen's foul throws. It was all very meh, he says. Tottenham can be nominated if they sign the little scum bastard before Thursday, so don't have to watch the human spaniel wasting attacking opportunities again.
It looks like he's going to Fulham.
I was going to say, just flicked across to Twitter, Fabrizio Romano, let's give him his full name. Fulham,
he knows nothing.
Fulham are closing on the Daniel James deal.
Yeah, he's just saying that so he can...
On loan from Leeds.
He's just saying that to tweet, isn't he? He just has to tweet.
At least if he's on loan from Leeds, he can't score against us or do bad things against us.
That is true.
Seems a strange move, that. Seems a strange move, but anyway.
I think if that's happening, it must be just down to giving him somewhere to play, because he's not going to get the opportunities here.
And wages. Right, who's your hero of the week then? Sinisterra?
Yeah.
Fine.
The new Rafinha.
Yep. We'll return with a show debriefing the transfer window, as we mentioned on the extra ball. We'll look back on it, of course, on the weekly show. Match ball is on the way. We've got to record the Phil Hay show in about an hour and a half after Jesse's press conference. Too busy this. They can stop with these bloody midweek games. This is what's happened since we decided to do this after we got promoted, like doing the match balls and all that. We've had far fewer games, so I feel really put out by midweek games because they give us loads more work to do.
Progressed in the cup as well. That was selfish.
We're looking forward to going to Wolves in November.
Very un-Leedsy. Well, yeah, that'll be a thrilling watch.
Just wait, are we doing match balls for the Papa Johns this year?
Well, maybe not.
We'll
Commitment.
We'll wait
Commitment.
it up. Yeah. Thanks for watching and listening. We'll see you in a bit.
The Square Ball Podcast.